Good morning. Hey. Gentlemen of the cadre, YouTube elite. Got a bit of a problem with the abilities of some of our bingo players over on the cadre. We'll get to that. I'll show you. Today we are using Lakewood Soap Company, Beale Street. You gotta love it just for the name and the little artwork. And pardon me, I could use a cup of coffee already, but that won't happen for another hour or so. I already got it all whooped up using a Paladin. Look at that. I love this pattern or color. It's not a color. And I don't remember what I was just gonna say, but I couldn't think of what popped to my head. But you can get that pattern in many different shapes, so it's not just that brush. But today I'm going to be using the Essence Razor yet again. I think I used the Pro Blade only 5 times and got a little it was doing fine, but it just I had enough. It was all right. I mean, there wasn't bloody, but it was always a little sore. Like I said in my journal, day after day, it's kind of just a little too much aggressive for me. Cheeks were fine. Neckle area, you could use a little break. So I've been using a couple other things. It might be a mistake. I've now put a DE blade in there. This is a half a Wizamit blade. I think this is the first one that I've used that you've got to bust it in half. Otherwise, most of the other shave vets I've used, you put the whole thing in and just, one side's exposed. But look at that blade exposure. That is, I put it in there. It's like, that's more than that, the Artist Club blade, it seems. So we shall see, shall we? Let me concentrate on this for a second, and then we'll talk about bingo. Oh. Ain't no thing. This is good. Yep. All right, take it easy. Don't get cocky. Shave the eyeballs like Gear Noir likes to say. That was lovely. Right on. Okay. I still got to concentrate. This is, still a bit sharp. I like it. Okay. So bingo boys. The last game I called was just to have a big old piff and make it super easy, because I would get frustrated. Especially if you're working all day. When you get towards the end and just need that one number, and other people say they're one number away, that if the calls are tough and you're at work, you might have your number called first, but if you don't have time to find it, then you might lose. Plus, it's aggravating. People, there have been games where I have spent hours looking for the calls. And if it's a day that you can't do that, or no day you want to commit that much time to it, it does get super frustrating. And you're just like, if this is the expectation, I can't do this every day. Right? So there are things, let me tell you. And I know that when bingo started on other forums, it got nastily difficult. And even on the cadre, we started with the ability to do time shifting, i.e., the bingo caller could go back to a post from the previous day and edit it still and add a call. So not only did you have to look for one day's post, you had to look at 2 days' posts, and you're still running across the calls that maybe were anyway. That's a major pain. I said I would never do that. Never have. I think we still have the ability to do that. I haven't even checked, but I won't do that. So it hasn't been that hard. There have been people that have done hot links, not, the eaten kind. But the clickable kind, where you post like a word. You can say, hey, Steve Vargo, check out these rubber ducks you've been trying to find. And the word ducks will be like highlighted and underlined. And then you click on it and it'll go to like Bruce's Emporium of Rubber Ducks and that kind of a hot link. So people, when you do that, it automatically underlines the word I think or bolds it or something like that. After you do that, you can highlight the word and edit that away. Get rid of the highlighting, get rid of bolding or italics or what have you. So it looks like every other word. So there have been people where every single one of their flipping posts, you have had to roll your cursor over every bit of it. Because not only would they do a link on a word, they would reduce it to a period. You could have one period that's a hot link and takes you to a picture of a number that's a call. I haven't done that. That's super time consuming. And if you don't know how they're doing their calls, you're looking for all these things all at the same time. I'll say, I haven't done that. I thought I was easing back into the difficulty level. There are some people that will post codes, like hexadecimal code that you've got to go online and find a converter for, translator. That happens enough, that and Morse code, that it's pretty obvious. How to fix those, but only, the Morse code's easy, but the hexadecimal, that's not something I've dealt with since college. And so I didn't really realize what the heck it was the first couple times I ran across it, but now it's kind of common. But anybody new to bingo doesn't deal with that. I could easily see they would find the hexadecimal stuff and go, well, that's not a call, or what the heck is this, and not know how to convert it. And I haven't done that. So it sounds like, and in past games, this is not meant for nobody to win. I mean, somebody's got to win at bingo. So we're not trying to, it's supposed to be a bit of an adventure. Good humor jabbing at each other. A little bit of effort. But everybody should know what the calls are. So in the past, so here's the hints for the new guys or those that are frustrated. So don't be frustrated. We're only 2 days into this thing. You got more than enough time to get the calls, get on board, win a bunch of stuff. The first thing is, how come you're not talking to each other? I know at least one person knows all the calls. And there's nothing saying you can't reach out and say, hey, I got these 4, what's the last one? Right? Where are you finding these things? Or sometimes it even gets so frustrating after a few hints, you just say, what is it? Third pass. You can reach out to the bingo wizard and say, hey, can you give me a hint on this one? That means I've got to start writing down where I've left them, because I thought that they weren't that difficult, and I write down what I've called, but I'll have to go find it again and tell you. I can do that. I think it's nothing new, but let me tell you some of the stuff that has already happened. You can type a word, highlight it, change it to white, so it doesn't show up unless you just highlight a whole post, or I think KJ's got some other way that you can easily do it. That kind of stuff aggravates me, because on a phone, you have a difficult time finding that stuff. That's been done though. The Magic Eye, self-explanatory. If you don't get it, you just ask somebody else. That's kind of common practice. Hey, I can't get these, what is it? Hiding a call in the midst of a bunch of text has happened. I'm sure you've seen that before if you played any games on the cadre. But I think in the last few games, I'm the only one that had done it without a numeral. Yes, there's a number involved in the call, but the only way to convey a number through text isn't only numerals. Is maybe that a call that you've missed? You got to read carefully. They're not quote hidden. You just got to read carefully. Sometimes we just blow past when we're reading and kind of, assume what the next words are. Anyway, that's been done. Remember, we're only 10 calls into this thing. I haven't been that many tricks. When you reply to a post and it quotes the other person's message, and then you reply underneath, that quote, as you know, if you've seen through some tomfoolery on the forums, can be edited. But it's still on my post. There's a hint for you. So it's just a matter, I think, of just running across some of these things one time, and then you know what to look for. They're not hard. You just, some folks, obviously, you can post a picture that has been somewhat altered to hide a call on the picture somewhere. That's happened. Did you find that one? I didn't, and I didn't do it too difficult. You don't have to. Some folks, you got to zoom in. I've been zoomed in all the way and slowly mapping through photos to find calls in the past. Like I said, I'm not trying to kill anybody on these things. But really, all it takes is reaching out to each other, because somebody reached out to me about, by the way, I love this. I love shaving with the half a DE in the Essence. That's a winner. Very fun for me. Great shave. And interesting, the different feel between, maybe it's because the DE is just thinner. I don't know. Like I said, the Feather Pro, nothing. No alum sting, nothing. The Pro is thicker. Maybe it's, you wouldn't think you're getting any flex, right? And flex in the blade with this little bit of exposure. Maybe there's just enough that there's a little bit more flex in a DE than an Artist Club with, a millimeter exposure. I don't know. Anyway, much more comfortable. I could probably do this days and days and days on end. With new blades, of course. When I cut them in half like that, use one side, they're only good for 2 shaves. But that's all right. We got the other shave, other side of the blade to use. Which, to Sam, Wood Pusher's excitement, normally a DE blade I get 3 uses out of in a normal DE razor. This I get 4, right? 2 per each side. Very economical. Did the Allen, let me rinse that off. So I was going to say, somebody reached out to me about a photo I had posted. And the name of the photo was just all sorts of gobbledygook. You know, I just got it from the internet or something. And he asked, you know, are these first 2, which was a letter and a number, a call? I'm like, no. It had nothing to do with bingo. But good question, because people have done that. They've altered file names and hidden a call in a file name. And he knew, he'd seen that or heard about that, and so knew to look there. So it's just a matter of, that's all it is learning the little different things so you know what to look for, and then they should be easy to find. So talk to each other. That's all I'm saying is, I don't want to cop out and just post the calls just plain old like I did before, because the people that like to search for them a little bit probably don't have as much fun that way. But I don't want anybody to be aggravated. That's why I feel like I'm not doing too difficult to calls. So anyway, did the Thayer's lemon. I'm not even going to show you. They're still not sponsoring the dang page. Nivea 2-in-1 though. Never do without that. So there we go. Recaps are funny because it negates all of the, especially at the beginning of the game, it negates all the hard work that people put into finding them. But again, you don't want to leave people behind. So I'm sure before we get into the weekend, I'll do a recap of all the calls just to get everybody back involved in it. And there we go. I guess I said what I had to say. My shave is done. I'm a little late for work, so I'll see you on the forums.